What is going on, guys? My name is Jonathan. This is Comic Book Cinema. I'm a little sick today, but I'm still here, still kicking. And I have three wonderful guests for you today. Two comedians, one from California, one from Mississippi, and a former metal guy, current awesome guy. I'll let you guys introduce yourselves real quick.
What up? All right.
What's up?
What a comedian. What a comedian.
I still need to work on my intros. Anyway, so today we have all assembled and gathered here to discuss Batman Forever. Unfortunately, I gave these poor gentlemen the task of watching this daunting 2-hour film. I'm sure that everyone has a lot to say about it.
I think that's why we couldn't figure out how to do an intro, because we're still tired from accidentally nodding off during Batman Forever.
You
Yeah, all
know,
I can think about is Val's lips.
That's what I was gonna point out too. My critique, like usually for like who can play Batman, I'm like, okay, who has like literally a square chin that can like not look stupid in the mask? But after watching Batman Forever, I'm like, okay, you also can't have duck lips because that doesn't really work either in the cowl.
Yeah, they're juicy.
Yeah, man, he was like licking them and stuff.
I know that Tim and Wyatt are a lot younger than me.
Thank you.
Maybe it was because when I can literally remember the promotional material for this film. I can remember, you guys probably don't even remember TV Guide, but TV Guide would come out. It would be like a little small magazine, and it would come out every month in the mail, and it would basically tell you what to expect over the next
You got TV
month.
Guide in the mail? I saw it at the grocery store at the checkout counter.
Well, yeah, that too. But I mean, I don't think we actually had a subscription to it. But I can remember owning the TV Guide that had the promotional material for this upcoming film, and I was just hype about it. The new Robin costume. That's one thing I will say. One good thing that came out of this film was the modern iteration of that Robin costume. But everything
this was
else
the first
about
with
it,
pants, right?
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like like converting it into armor as opposed to just a 13-year-old kid wearing a green Speedo.
So here's how I always viewed Batman Forever, because it came out I think I was like 5 or something, and pretty much Batman was all I cared about. I think the point of that movie, and I mean, I could be wrong, the point of it was to sell action figures and toys. That was the point of that movie, and I own so much stuff from that movie. To me, it's always going to be a personal favorite because it has Jim in it, and I will die on that hill. And even though he's nuts, it's fine.
I think
he
Jim
wanted
Carrey's
to
good
cut
casting for it.
a question mark into his head, like shave it.
That
like
doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, like shave it in the back of his head.
Jim Carrey is great casting because he is the kind of person who will give a totally unhinged performance.
Yes.
Unfortunately, this is my second time watching this movie. I didn't watch it as a kid. I had the Batman Forever Game Boy game, and I could never get past the second level. It was really hard, so I had a grudge against Batman Forever for a long time. Having seen Batman and Robin a few times, it does solidify for me that Batman Forever walked so that Batman and Robin could run and sprint and really go full in on the insane campy version that Joel Schumacher was trying to make all along. This still feels like he's got his foot in both camps, trying to appease the studio, trying to still tell like a sort of Tim Burton-y darker Batman, but with some of the campy elements and insane characters, but not really being able to turn the crazy dial up all the way.
That's what makes this one a little more tolerable, is the fact that, like you said, you had one foot in each world, because when you went full blown into that campy, super wild wackiness of Batman and Robin, oh my God. But
see, I think that's the way it should have been. I've reflected and I'm like, that's the total insanity that I did not realize Batman needed. And I will sit and I will watch this movie and be like, oh yeah, there's some fun moments. There's some inspired choices here. There's also a lot of really weird choices that I still don't understand. Why do we have some of these moments in this movie? Why did we cast somebody to play Two-Face who hates being involved in the movie at all?
Dude,
Like
Tommy Lee Jones,
like destroy Jim. Like he hated Jim so much.
Hated him.
so much so that he did a parody of Jim Carrey's acting. He hated him so much he wanted to out Jim Carrey in the movie. It's a weird thing to watch.
So I thought that was all there was to that. There was just this competitiveness there between Tommy Lee Jones and Jim Carrey. And I thought it was because Tommy Lee Jones felt insecure about how good Jim Carrey was. But there was like legitimate beef there between those two.
Oh, there's real well-documented beef.
And still is. Like, I'm pretty positive Tommy Lee would probably like deck him if he saw him.
Mm-hmm.
What was I going to say? But look,
that makes me enjoy the movie more.
Yeah, and man, let me tell you something. The soundtrack was phenomenal.
Yeah.
You know, if anything, if there's anything great to take from that movie, is the soundtrack.
Yeah. The ending song with U2 playing, like that brought me back, man. Because like I said, I watched this movie a lot when I was a kid. Yeah, and Seal, Kiss from a Rose, even though it's not actually in the film, it's so synonymous with that movie, you know, even in the music video for that. I mean,
Joel like directed the music video, so he was like, "Oh yeah, this is it."
We're gonna use the rest of these sets while we still have a shot, while we still can do it.
I think I felt bad for the guys that because Joel did Lost Boys, and I feel like everybody was like, "Oh man, Batman, Joel's going to do it. It's going to be dark, just like Tim, take the reins." And then they were just showed up in the movie theater, and they're just like, "What is this?"
And this is also my least favorite Batmobile of all time as well. I don't know.
Hey man, that was my favorite toy. So up yours, man.
It's a great toy Batmobile. Practicality wise, not so much. Anytime I completely forgot about the sequence where he presses a switch and the wheels just turn, and so the Batmobile strafes down the highway, which is so ridiculous and feels so out of left field. Dude, in a scene that already has a Two-Face dressed in like an old woman shawl carrying a fake baby. For somehow the level of ridiculousness to get heightened to that, where you're like, all right, a car driving sideways, I can't buy into this. No way.
Dude, I really thought that was very Joker of him.
Yeah.
It was very
old lady and whip out a gun or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Definitely very Joker of Two-Face to do that.
Shout outs to when the Batmobile just went straight up a building.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that was cool too. I thought that was a nice touch. I mean, as campy or cheesy as it was something unique.
The only thing that was missing was for like a celebrity cameo to like come out of the window, like in the 1960s version, and for the Batmobile just to run them over.
Yeah. Yeah, he did throw out the Holy Rusted Metal Batman line as well.
Yeah. Yes.
I can remember watching that as a kid, and the first time I watched it with my parents, they both looked at each other and they paused the movie and they talked about, how the old Robin used to always say, because I didn't know at that point. I didn't watch all those older Batman shows until later in life, but I didn't know that Robin always said, "Holy kryptonite, Batman." This movie's bad, don't get me wrong, but I think that
it's a good bad.
Yeah, it's a good bad. It really is. It was. I don't know. I wouldn't say that I would rush to go watch it again anytime soon, but I didn't hate the experience of rewatching this. I think that, as long as I was able to pause it and come back to it every, few minutes or so, it wasn't that bad. And maybe that's also because of that nostalgia and growing up as a kid watching this on repeat. And like I said, I think you said you disagree with me, Jay, but I think this one's way better than Batman and Robin. Because that one,
hands down.
I'm going to be the lone Batman and Robin defender until the day I die. I think that's a film. That's a hill I will die on, because I do feel like that's a movie we're never going to get to see Batman like that ever again. And because especially now, it's so interesting watching this and having watched The Batman earlier this year and seeing just what Christopher Nolan did to the franchise. I think it's a step in the direction that makes sense for where modern superhero movies have gone, right?
Yeah.
And taking that to the next level with the way that Matt Reeves has used the Riddler and Bruce Wayne and Batman, and then go back to this where the Riddler is not a serial killer. The Riddler is just a guy who had one of the Boardwalk Zoltan games in his office and was like, oh, that's who I'm going to dress like. I'm going to be this wacky guy. I'm going to make a product that saps people's intelligence from the television. There's no way that any kind of cartoonish villainy like that would fly in modern Batman movies.
Hey, straight up, I wanted one of those so bad.
The
like
TV thing?
It looked like fun. The 3D TV.
Yeah.
And well, no, just not that. The his whatever you want to call him, his Riddler man.
Oh yeah.
Oh, the one that's like
I wanted one of those so bad. And I have no idea why, but hey, look, as you can see with all my junk, I would gladly take one.
It is funny though, because both Riddlers from the Batman and Batman Forever have the same weird sexual energy. Like,
yeah,
in both movies, you're like, what is he getting out of this?
Everything. How well do you think the action figure sold as Matt Reeves' Riddler compared to Jim Carrey's Riddler?
Oh, weird. I feel weird to carry mine
like the action figure for that one because it was too real. So
probably
I don't know not. Because that was very scary because everybody's like, man, somebody can actually do this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, dude. I was like, the first time I watched that film, even though I knew it was coming, they talked about the comparisons to the Zodiac Killer and everything before the film came out. But when I actually saw the movie, I was like, dang, this is really dark. They in a lot of ways, they took it up a notch from what Nolan had done in the past, brought some real gritty, hard to swallow realism in some places, especially with the Riddler.
Yeah.
What did you guys think of the Glow Stick Gang?
Of the what?
The Glow Stick Gang.
Oh, yeah, dude.
I thought that was great.
We've all had those weird nights at Dave & Buster's.
Honestly, though, I think that Robin is the single worst thing that's happened to Batman in the history of Batman as a character. Not just in this film and not just in the films or the animated, whatever. Like, it is so out of place to me. Even in a wild, crazy, campy world like this, I still don't like to see a Robin. What do you guys think? Am I off base on that?
Well, it's just a sidekick. You got your dog. Who's your sidekick? Because they got the super pets,
right.
And but hey, what's it like to have a grown man have a child as your sidekick? That doesn't who you're not related to, depending on how you follow.
To the credit of Joel Schumacher and the writers of this movie, they did not make Robin a teenager. They made Robin a punk college student with an earring who was a cool motorcycle guy. And Robin is still doing the thing that I think he does sort of as like in general as a Batman character, which is he's got a little bit of autonomy, but he's mostly there for comic relief. He's mostly there to be a guy who Batman can kind of look at and be like, all right, this is my ward. This is my guy. But he's still saying holy rusted metal at the end of the day. Yeah. He's still a trapeze artist. He's still a guy who they're like, I'm going to bribe you with a motorcycle so that way you stay around my house.
Yeah, and he definitely made doing your laundry way more sexier.
Oh, yeah.
I was going to say, yeah, we had to talk about that. That was great.
If I saw some dude like roommate doing this, I was like, are you okay, man?
Yeah, this is a cry for help.
I think that Alfred is probably the best actor in the film.
Yeah.
He really brought something to that role more so than ever in this film. Sure, Michael Caine did some good things with the character of Alfred.
Michael Caine.
I wasn't a huge fan of, so far, of the guy that plays Gollum. What's his name?
Andy Serkis.
Yes. I mean, he was fine, but he didn't really do much in the character role. But in this film, what's his name? Old boy with the super bushy eyebrows.
His name's Michael Gough.
Michael Gough. Yeah. I'm
Tony
sure
Award-winning English actor.
Of course he is or was. Yeah. And I think because he was always Alfred for me as a kid, pretty much all of the Batmans till, Batman and Robin, those were all my childhood. He always brought such a good father figure for Batman and Robin. Mm-hmm. And I thought he was just such a great supporting, actor.
Second favorite Alfred, I'd probably go on the Alfred tier list.
So you think Michael Caine is Michael Caine your first?
You trusted me.
And I can't top Michael Caine.
Him just want to do an impression. That's why it's his number one.
Dude, when he was crying at that grave, I was like, don't you do this to me, Michael. Don't you?
Yeah, when they had that little exchange between Bale and Kane in the third Batman film, when it was just like,
it essentially was just like, hey man, it's pretty dark that you're still Batman. He was essentially going like, you're going to die.
It was in the trailer. I remember that.
so
This
I can't
Alfred
do this anymore.
certainly looked the most like an Alfred.
Yeah.
I think out of any Alfred, he's got the Alfred look. He's got the thick glasses. He doesn't seem very intimidating in terms of stature, but he speaks with authority, and you're like a little bit scared of Alfred and what he's capable of. But also, he's a English butler who looks kind of Mr. Magoo-ish.
Now that I think about it, hasn't every Alfred been some kind of because even Andy Serkis won a lot of awards for his motion capture with Gollum. There's like a theme of like Alfred is the most prestigious actor in the cast. At least just seems like it as we're talking about it.
Yeah, and you had Jeremy Irons. He played Scar and Lion King.
Jeremy Irons, wonderful.
Excalibur too, right? Wasn't he?
I ain't seen that forever.
And he was in Watchmen.
Oh yeah,
he was Ozymandias.
The TV show,
yeah.
Oh, okay.
So good.
Huh. What about Chase Meridian? What did you guys think about Nicole Kidman?
Oh my gosh, I love Nicole so much in that movie. And watching that movie again, like I said, she was ready to go. She was like, "Please, Batman, take me right here in front of the bat signal." But thank goodness Commissioner Gordon showed up, or he was going to see some things.
These are my
Commissioner Gordon. What a square.
My two least favorite characters in this movie are the Chase Meridian and this version of Commissioner Gordon. I don't like a frumpy Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Especially the first, Batman '89. He was just kind of goofy.
Exactly. And this guy it felt like he's cut from the same cloth as that Commissioner Gordon.
So I was going to say, wasn't it the same Commissioner Gordon from '89 all the way to Batman and Robin?
Batman and Robin.
Yeah, right?
Yeah. Because I remember Poison Ivy, and he was like, yeah, I want some. She put her dust on him. And she's like, you're too old for me. Classic.
I Chase Meridian in this movie. Look, I love Nicole Kidman. I will stand and applaud for her every time I see her in the AMC theaters intro. But Chase Meridian is a character, just not doing it for me. And I looked up to confirm she was invented for this movie, and they have backtracked and put her back into the comics. And they initially did not made her look different in the comics because they didn't want to pay Nicole Kidman royalties for the character. That's how little they regard Chase Meridian as important to the Batman universe.
Well, I did a little bit different research. I was looking up, was she still married to Tom Cruise? That's what I did.
Ooh, I think so.
I did not think that's what you were going to say when you said you were doing research.
96, right? 96, 97 when this came out. 96.
Yeah. So
this would be
all about some Tom
towering over him.
Yes. All six of her. I don't know how tall she is.
She's tall. She's almost Sigourney Weaver level tall. Sigourney Weaver, the tallest actress out there.
Yeah, how tall is she?
Sigourney Weaver, I think, is 6'7" or 6'8".
She's a unit.
Really?
There's a great photo. This is something I very much remember from this time in my life because I was a big Nickelodeon magazine subscriber, and they had one issue where they talked about like weird celebrity facts, and one of them was Sigourney Weaver is the tallest working actor, and Danny DeVito is the shortest working actor, and they had a picture of them together, and it was great just to see that Danny DeVito needed to be like two Danny DeVitos tall to be the same height as Sigourney Weaver.
They gotta do a buddy cop movie now.
Yes,
dude, that is unbelievable. She's 6'8".
No, that's incorrect. That's why it is unbelievable. She's 6'3" in heels. She's 5'11". I don't know where I got that stat from. This is me not remembering things correctly as a child.
That's okay, man.
It happens. But yeah, I would say that she's a great actress. Everything else she's been in, she's phenomenal, but for whatever reason, maybe it's because she was really just trying to throw herself into this world. But man, her acting in this film was just really like, maybe it was the dialogue that was so cringe, for me.
I
but
think
it was
For sure.
Yeah, I think that's for me really more the problem is not her acting necessarily, because she's doing what I would imagine she was directed to do.
Mhm.
But the writing and shoehorning her into this, like the scene just alone where she is punching a punching bag in her office and Val Kilmer has to bust the door down, and this whole like them trying to figure out the door thing, like there's no place for that in a Batman movie. There's no need for a scene like that to happen.
Yeah, huh?
They're both
You
trying.
thought that she was in trouble, okay?
Look, kung fu happens randomly all the time in our daily lives. Okay, it's unavoidable.
Yeah. See, and her being a whatever she was, psychotherapist, whatever. You see some dude, good-looking guy, just come tear your huge door down. It makes you think, oh, wonder why he's so strong.
Makes you look at his duck lips, be like, what does that mouth do? I would say this is the shallowest pick for Bruce as far as love interests go. Like every other Batman girlfriend has either been like a superhero, supervillainess, or just like a very interesting character in general. And in this one, he's just like, oh, Batman groupie. All right.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Easy layup.
If you had to give this film a rating on a scale from 1 to 10 or 0 to 10, 0 being absolutely unredeemable in every way possible, and 10 being perfect, where would you rank it? We'll start with you, Mr. J.
This is tough because I still watched this movie and thought it was bad. Again, it has some charm, but even the charm can't really save it. I'm going to give this a 4 out of 10.
Okay, that's nice to me.
Gosh, you're harsh, man. I don't know.
No, that's nice. I think that's very polite. I tell you what,
that was harsh.
Just to give you guys my standpoint on this film, I have it ranked as a 2. And this is why. In my 2.5s, I have movies like, Spider-Man 3, which I think Spider-Man 3 is better than this one. Like, honestly, that's how
It's
bad.
definitely more entertaining than this one.
Yeah. And yeah. Even like Spawn, the first or the only Spawn movie I have is a 2.5. So I couldn't put it in that 2.5 territory. I had to bring it down to a 2. So that's me. What do you think, Wyatt?
Well, like I said, this is part of my childhood, so it's very hard for me to like just demolish it because it had some of my favorite people in it. I'd probably give it a 6 because, or a 6.57. Then the reason why is because soundtrack was, carries a good bit. Now, of course, we're just talking movie alone. Yeah, sure. Like I said, it's a part of my childhood. I would say just a 6, 5.56.
That's kind of where I would go too, because it also was a part of my childhood. I would go 6 to 6.5, but then if you watch it from Batman Returns and then you watch Batman Forever, it's like an 11 out of 10, just to be like, this is the same story. Like, we're just completely ignoring all that crazy stuff that happened.
And also, I just, I was being a nerd and I was like looking up. I looked up why Michael Keaton wasn't in it. He looked at the script and said, no, I am not doing this. I think that says a lot.
Smart move, yes.
And you guys mentioned the toy sales. That was literally Joel Schumacher's goal in the studio.
Well, the studio wanted him because what ended up happening when he did the first script, it was supposed to be Batman like year 1. It was supposed to be super dark, classic Tim Burton-y, or Joel Lost Boys-esque. They were on board, but the studio was like, no, we want toy sales. And Michael Keaton was on board for year 1. And they didn't want to do a, what is it, origin story or prequel, however you want to call it. They didn't want to go back in time, so to speak. So that's why they were like, no, you're going to make a bright film and we're going to sell toys. And Michael Keaton said, I'm out.
To be fair, we were talking about how few action figures they probably sold for the Batman. Like Batman Returns, how many action figures could you sell for that movie too? Like that was probably not the most profitable merchandising. You got Batman, you got a woman in a skin tight latex cat suit,
Terrifying.
and and you got literally still the scariest Batman villain that's been put on screen. Merry Christmas, kids. We got you.
That's what I got for Christmas.
Serial killers.
Maybe that's
Really?
why I turned out the way I am. I had Batman Returns, everything.
That makes complete sense.
It does. So, guys, thank you so much for joining me for this episode. Why don't you let us know where we can find you on YouTube, Mr. J, and everywhere else on social media?
Yeah, you can follow me at Diet J on all the social media, and my podcast, Blockbusting, the podcast where we love to hate the movies, at Blockbusting Pod on all the socials.
Heck yeah. What about yourself, Mr. Tim?
Follow me on Instagram, comedian_T.Watt. I won't spell that out because we're being family friendly, but that's where you'll find info to all the other little shenanigans I like to do.
Heck yeah. Is there anything you'd like to plug, Mr. Wyatt?
Oh, no, man. I used to be a streamer and I used to be the OG Wyatt, and you can catch me on Instagram, Twitter, all that, but I'm more of a lurker. Thank you.
Also, guys, thanks for watching the video. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and TikTok at Real Comic Book Cinema. You can also find us on Facebook. We're also in the podcasting realm now. You can find us on Spotify, Amazon Music, anywhere where you can find podcasts, we're on. And also, don't forget to check us out on Patreon, patreon.com/comicbookcinema. Until next time, have a good one.